Time for another Soccer Down Here 1v1, and it's time to catch up with our friends at FC Buffalo. Nicholas Mendola, one of the co-owners up there. It's been a while since Nick has been on the network, and it's because we bring him in because there is news. It is newsworthy. There is a news peg, and as much as we like staring at the FC Buffalo gear and the Wolves and all that kind of stuff, there's a move. Congratulations, Nick. Thanks for coming back on with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's a fun time to be involved in our club.
And the news is that you're shifting from the NPSL, one of the tougher conferences out there, year in and year out, and you're shifting to the USL. And how much toil and thought and trouble and tears went into this idea about shifting from one league to the other?
Plenty, but also because of logistics and making sure that your visions are aligned. And when you're leaving a group, I love Cleveland SC, Erie Commodores, Pittsburgh Hotspurs, Akron City FC is the new boy, Rochester Lancers. We made so many good friends and good people, and people bond you to the game often more than even a league can. And we've been in the NPSL for quite a long period of time. It was a good platform for us. It will continue to be a good platform for a lot of clubs. But it was time for us to have this was the right lane for us. Let's put it that way. Sometimes you're on the highway and sometimes you want to go fast. Sometimes you want to go the speed limit. Sometimes you're in the slow lane. If we look at it that way, the USL League Two is it's the right lane for us right now, and extremely excited about it.
When you look at, and this is a journey for FC Buffalo that has been, if my math is right, 14 years now.
Yeah, that's about right. So there'll be our 13th season, I believe.
Yeah, 13 seasons, so 14 years in getting everything done. What has this ride been like for you and for the owners and the supporters to start something from ground zero, to get it where it has been, and now taking this next step in the journey? What's it been like?
Turbulent. And I don't mean that in a way to say that it's bad or anything like that, but this country's soccer scene is remarkably challenging. Obviously, we don't have the sort of mobility that comes with promotion and relegation, largely due to geography, but there is a very difficult task that comes with being in a club that is trying to succeed and trying to be ambitious and trying to state its intent in this game, right? Like, we want to be a fully professional club. We want to grow. We want to be the sort of club that can host someone from overseas, that can go overseas, that can send our players somewhere, that can have a thriving women's team. But all of that is really challenging, especially if you're not part of that dynamic that is coming off of a youth soccer club. I think we see the top of the pyramid for a lot of clubs become their USL League Two team or their NPSL team or whatever league that they're in, and really the underpinnings of that club help to keep this club up here. And we started with the club up here and are filling in the down below, and that's very difficult. So it's a fraught journey. I think anyone in any division that has been alive as long as we have, or even half the time or double the time, needs to be lauded. It is very, very, very difficult because there are so many also alternatives for not just your entertainment dollar, but your soccer entertainment dollar.
And in the USL, the growth that the league has had over the last little bit, however many years you want to quantify that with, now it includes USLA. It includes the academy side. It includes the women's side. You have other leagues that are working there too. You're hopping into USL League Two, and there's a lot of horizontal and there's a lot of vertical that can be done when you look at the USL and what they are as a part of this landscape. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to think about what's best for the future of our club, but also what's best for the present. And we are stepping into something that we, within a couple of days or a week, you'll see what conference we're in and the schedule of the teams we're going to face. And it is the sort of challenge that you want to embrace, but also you can look to it regionally and see a platform that keeps it all in the same house, that sees, if you do want to enter the USL Academy, which is a really, really interesting platform, you'll know, all right, well, we're going to play the same teams as in a lot of ways that we're going to play in and build that rivalry through tiers. And it's really exciting. The vision of the USL, I'm not going to lie, was a big part of what made this move happen the way that it did.
So when you look at the vision 13/14, 13 seasons, 14 years in for FC Buffalo, when you look at the vision going forward, how many different lanes of traffic are you foreseeing here in a perfect world? I guess this can be the crystal ball question if you want, but where would you like to see things continue to grow and evolve for your club and for soccer in Western New York going forward?
All of them. All of them. I mean, we've decided to, we have our women's team in United Women's Soccer for this summer, and that league's been very good for us. And geographically, it works for us. But if your league as a whole, your governing league, USL, allows you top-notch opportunities in the women's game, in the women's amateur game, in the men's game, in the men's amateur game, in the academy game, you want to explore how all of those can work for you. You just have to do it in a strategic way. You know, we are very much the kid in the candy store right now. We want to make sure we don't just eat 450 peanut butter cups, right? And get sugar sick, right? So, you know, I think I do want to see us grow. This relationship, this path that we've seen through the USL has not grown in a vacuum. It has been grown through conversations and friendship that we built. And there are some other forces at play here too, between USL and Buffalo, that we hope will take this men's program even higher and to the place we've always wanted it to be, when it was just, you know, a twinkle in our eye back in 2009.
When you try to break down what soccer means to Western New York, the footprint, the involvement for someone who has never seen it other than maybe in a line in a box score or chasing after information on a website, how would you break down the soccer footprint of Western New York and what it means to the whole collective?
Geez, I want to be careful. I always like to make comparisons that involve music, but then I'm like, then you're painting your band, your club as a band.
Okay.
But I will go to either. Let me ask you this. I'll let you choose the lane for me here.
Okay.
You get to choose whether I make the grunge analogy or the punk analogy. What do you want?
Well, let's see. So grunge, I think, is more associated with the Pacific Northwest. So I guess then by default, we go the other way.
Sure. So okay. So I remember, you know, your Lollapalooza, your mid 90s, you had this conversation about, there was this punk band, and Buffalo soccer around here in Western New York has been very much punk rock. It's been a lot of people in a lot of different areas. They all like their bands and they're waiting for maybe this thing to pull together. And whether you liked them then, like them now or before, I'll never forget. It would have been Woodstock 94 maybe, or 93, whatever year that was. Green Day kind of took the world by storm, and they had this pop mechanism, but they had their roots had come from punk. And so when they took off, all the other labels started saying, well, maybe we can make something of this. Maybe this can be a major label thing. I think Western New York soccer has been a lot like that. We have had great ratings for watching the Premier League, for watching the United States men's national team, the women's national team, MLS, USL, whatever's on TV. These things have exploded. These things have really worked. And I really do. It's going to be a lot of work, but I hope our club can kind of be that signpost for the area, the way that, you know, the Rhinos were for a while in Rochester, the way that the Kickers were in Richmond, in these markets that were not part of the original footprint of MLS, or even you know, the USL Championship as it's grown, to say that, listen, this is a city that has a culture. That culture is kind of coming together around this one thing, and we're going to work hard enough, and we're going to be loyal and representative enough that we are lifting the name of Buffalo soccer. And it's a great responsibility, and it's a big ask, and it's easier said than done, but we're excited to try and be that.
So then does that make you Billy Joe Armstrong?
I suppose it does. Yeah, I used to be in a band and I was the singer, so I guess I'll take the Billy Joel over. Let's see, was it Trey Cool and
Trey Cool and Mike Dirnt.
Mike Dirnt? Yeah, yeah. I guess that makes me Billy Joe Armstrong.
Okay. When it comes to-do lists, and this is a question that I like to ask owners and GMs and folks all the time. When it comes to-do lists, I know we all have them.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be in various and sundry places. I mean, it can be in your phone. You pull out your stylus, you sit there, you yank the thing out, you write yourself a note, you jam the stylus back in, you put your phone away, then you remember that, oh, I wrote a note and I've got to transfer it to someplace. It could be legal pad. It could be on the magnetized thing on the fridge that at 2:00 in the morning you have this brainstorm. It's like, oh yeah, let me write this down. You write it down in the dry erase marker when you're getting your water. You put it away, and then you wake up in the morning getting breakfast, and you sit there and you look at it and go, what was I thinking there? Or it's on one of those big 6x8 dry erase whiteboards that's off to your side, as I'm looking at you in your office, and you can sit there and you've got lines and squiggles and arrows and dates and things in different colors. Where is your to-do list for these next steps going forward? And what do you think the next thing you can cross off of it is as you go into this new part of FC Buffalo's future?
Well, we kind of have a to-do spider web, is how I would put it, because what we believe, and I'm excited, I guess the to-do list is to start to announce some things in terms of what we've been doing on, the inside. We have a lot more people helping us now. And we want those people to start to get the love so that, frankly, they're asked to do some interviews, right? Because they deserve to have their names out there and their faces out there. So, but we are trying to plan the next steps for this club, John, in a way that each thing bolsters the next. So if we make a big step with, let's say we were to do something with USL Academy, it's to prepare players to become a part of the League Two setup, right? If we make a big step with USL League Two, that raises the exposure level of FC Buffalo. Hopefully that's making the women's team even more attractive to get more fans out on that stage. But on the flip side of that, our women's team has been kicking ass for 2 years now. So as that grows, can we take some of the fans who maybe are more familiar with their local BDSL team, which is this amazing 6th division, 92 team local men's league around here? Can our women's team be the driving force that says, I want to give that men's team a try because I know they're going up into USL League Two, and that's intriguing to me. So the to-do list is tricky because every step we take with every part of our group, of our club, we want it to feed into what these others are doing. But yeah, we want to get the people who have helped us get here, their names out there. We're going to be announcing players. We got some events coming up. But in terms of the next big steps, barring a couple of the big steps falling into place, which could happen at any time, but also could take quite a while, I think we've cleared enough hurdles that we're just going to work on being solid now, right? We're gonna put together a great men's team that's already half done. Our women's team, holy cow! I don't want to put pressure on them, but 2 years, 2 division titles, a national semifinal last year, and I can't believe the pieces that have either stayed in place or are coming into place for them. So right now, not to elude your question, but it's about trying to win some games and being competitive as possible as we can in a League Two division that is going to present the most difficult game by game schedule that we've ever faced.
And I will say that if you ever want to break news, you can break it right here.
I'll call you, John. Absolutely.
Any chance you want. When it comes to the philosophy, and I know that each club has its own philosophy. Tactics, one thing, that's the playing side, that's on the field. Mm-hmm. Off the field, when it comes to the philosophy of FC Buffalo as an entity, how would you describe the philosophy of the club and what you hope it means to the sport of soccer?
Well, I guess I'm coming up with this right now. So if it ends up being a motto, it's going to be your problem.
Put it on a scarf and sell it, baby.
We're relentless in pursuit.
Okay.
No, and that is whether it's in pursuit of the ball on the field and being very difficult to play against. I'm confident that even when teams have beaten us and beaten us by multiple goals, they knew they played FC Buffalo. That's something that's become a part of what we do. But I've often looked at us, our club, and myself as well as, um, you don't not the group. We used to be the group that lowered their head like a rhinoceros, ran through the obstacle course, came out the other side, and then looked for bruises. Now I think we do it with our head up, and we're a little more agile. But we are fighters. Our coaches, our staff, our players. I'm not going to go quite to the underdog mentality because I think everybody can do that. Friggin' Kansas City Chiefs did that last night, right? Like, yeah, no one expected you to win. Actually, I'm pretty sure many people did.
You're
But
a point and a half dog. Of
I
course you
know,
had a chance.
yeah. But and that's just a shout at my buddy Andy Edwards, who I work with at NBC Sports Soccer. But um, you know, we're fighters and we're scrappers, and you never rule out the scrapper because they never know when they're beaten. And I would say that's the sort of young player we want to bring into our place that still sees a route to their dreams, but also understands that the joy is in the work and the joy is in the growth. And that's been Buffalo. Buffalo was down for a long time. I mean, heck, we had the World's Fair in 1901. Also, a president was assassinated at that World's Fair, but um, Buffalo was once one of the biggest cities in the United States, and it took a big hit. And I think the morale took a big hit here, but also the pride didn't. And the pride of the people here to always succeed and keep going. And I think we've carried that with us. I really do.
And at the same time, it's instead of being the rhinoceros with your head down, it's now RIP and staring at somebody nose to nose, relentless in pursuit, as
That's
opposed to
right. 100%. We know what's in front of us. And if something pops up on the side, we've been through enough fights to handle a couple obstacles.
no doubt. RIP. I love it. Relentless in pursuit. All right, time for the plug. For those that want to keep an eye on this new stage of what's going on at FC Buffalo, how do they do it?
Yeah, so go to fcbuffalo.org first and foremost. And we're also FC Buffalo on most of the social platforms. I do have I relented on TikTok, but that's not going to be ready for another month or so. Because I was right about Snapchat. Let me let that be known that we were going to outlast that. But yeah, fcbuffalo.org. You can email me at any time. My mailbox is open and I like talking to people. Nick at fcbuffalo.org. We need all the support we can get. And yeah, just keep paying attention and support your local club. More importantly, if you're watching and you're this far into the interview and you're not from Buffalo, there is a club somewhere near you who is trying to do what we do and possibly could do it even better with your support. So support them.
And at the same time, one of our listeners on the morning show wanted to know if there was any Bills Mafia-esque crossover when it came to tailgating activity. Are there table spots and things like that
Well, yeah, so we discourage the tables, but the tailgating is pretty intense, and we're pretty proud of that. We have a great relationship with a group called 26 Shirts, a group out of Buffalo that raises a lot of money for people in need. And we came up with a Bills jersey, Bills theme jersey, I should say, in collaboration with Zubaz. So if you want to go to go to fcbuffalo.org and click shop, and you'll see a pretty cool jersey.
Yes, you will, and you always do. It's very, very cool stuff. And I have my share as well. Nick, it's great to catch up with you. Congrats on the move over to USL League Two. Looking forward to seeing how many lanes of traffic you continue to work your way forward in this new venture. Thanks for hanging out for a 1v1.
You got it. We'll do our best to make you proud. Let's go, Buffalo.